Patuloy po ang opening weekend ng inyong Premier Volleyball League at patuloy pa rin tayong dumagsa dito sa ating tinatawag na Volleyball Central Philoil Flying V Center. 6 teams down, 2 more to go to make their debut in the Open Conference of your PVL. Kanina lamang, nanalo ang Lady Warriors over the UP Lady Maroons for their first win of the Open Conference, which sets us up sa ating second game dito sa ating Sunday edition of the PVL, the Power Smashers versus the Water Defenders to complete opening weekend for your Premier Volleyball League, which, by the way, is live right here on SNA and, of course, on PremierVolleyballLeague.com. Hello for ABS-CBN Sports. I'm Boom Gonzalez alongside Noringo and, of course, Ira Pablo. Good to see everyone again. It has been a great weekend so far. Dalawang kupunan na lang ang hindi pa natin napapanood na mag-debut dito sa ating Open Conference ng PVL. And Ira, yung dalawang team na mapapanood natin, yung dalawang team na pinakamagandang simula sa ating reinforced conference number 1 and number 2.
Yes, tama ka nga dyan, Boom. Mga PVL fans, it is day 2 of the Open Conference and a very exciting match coming up for you today dahil ang top teams nung preliminary round ang maglalaban ngayong araw na ito. Starting off with the Power Smashers. They finished with the second best record during the preliminary round, but they failed to make it to the finals, and according to Coach Nesh, nagkulang daw sila sa kondisyon ng katawan kaya they eventually lost to last conference champions, the Lady Warriors. Susunod naman, the Water Defenders, they had the best record finishing the preliminary round, but they failed to get the title during last conference. And according to Coach Roger Gorayev, it's all good because they're a group of young players competing against the veterans of the Lady Warriors. Kaya naman, proud pa rin tong si Coach Roger Gorayev sa kanyang team.
Something very really nice to look back on and work from para dito sa dalawang koponan. Nori, natisod ng konti doon sa dulo itong dalawang koponan na to. But it's a brand new conference, an open conference, but we do have the same format, don't we? Even with 8 teams joining us this year.
Yep, it's a single round robin. It's actually pretty short. It's a month-and-a-half tournament, a single round robin, and top 4 will advance to the semifinals for the final 4. So number 1 will play number 4, number 2 will play number 3 in a best-of-3 series, and the top 2 will play in the finals for, again, a best-of-3 series.
And hopefully these two teams, for their fans, yan ang gusto nilang makamit dito sa Open Conference, na sila ay makatungtong sa finals at manalo in the case of Coach Roger Gorayev. Now, we always say we welcome and we're happy to have our PVL fans joining us today, but we also want to welcome all the new ones who are joining us for the very first time here in the Open Conference. At dahil marami tayong bagong manonood, Ira, lagi tayong magpapakilala ng mga iba't ibang kupunan sa atin dito.
Tama ka dyan, Boom. Kaya naman kilalanin natin ang team ng Water Defenders. Panoorin po natin to.
Full force pa rin ang Water Defenders sa kanilang training para sa pagbubukas ng Premier Volleyball League Open Conference. Isa sa siguradong susubaybayan ngayong season ang pinakabatang player ng team at last conference best setter na si Jasmine Abor.
Preparation ko po as a player ngayon is siguro mas mag-improve pa po yung ilalaro ko sa every game. Magpupush pa ako sa training kasi alam ko may mga kulang pa ako sa nung PVL.
Aminado si Jasmine, vital ang kanyang posisyon sa bawat laban ng kanyang kupunan. Kaya naman, puspusan din ang kanyang paghanda.
Kailangan mas mag-improve ako ngayon kasi may mga ibang teams pa ulit. May mga ibang players pa. Kailangan mag-improve pa ako sa mga skills ko and makipag-communicate ako sa teammates.
Additional motivation din para kay Jasmine ang kauna-unahang award na nakuha niya sa PVL.
Hindi ko in-expect na makakuha ko nun. Parang ang expect ko lang, maglalaro lang ako, makakatulong lang ako sa team ko. Tapos yung sinabi na ako yung best setter, parang sobrang saya kasi parang lahat ng pinaghirapan ko nung simula naging setter ako, parang may napuntahan. Nakadagdag sa akin yun na maglaro ng maayos.
Kaabang-abang din ang tandem sa opensa nila Jerely Malabanan at ng PVL Reinforced Conference Best Middle Blocker na si Risa Sato.
Minsan po, like if we're blocking, then we talk to each other like, oh, I'll take this part of the block and then you take this part of the block. And then for plays, we tell each other which one we're gonna hit.
Masaya si Jerely sa oportunidad na ibinigay sa kanya ni Coach Roger dito sa PVL.
He's strict as a coach during training because he wants us to learn, so that's why he's like that. But you can tell that he really cares for his players. Like, he always asks us how we're feeling or stuff because he knows that it can affect us. But and even like outside the court, he calls us anak or whatever. Yeah, he's really close with us.
Hindi man nakuha ng kupunan ng championship nitong nakaraang conference, handa naman si Gretzel Soltones na mas lalong pagbutihan ngayong season.
Siguro yung sa puso sa paglalaro and yung parating sinasabi sa amin ni Coach Roger, yung pagiging smarty maglaro, yun lang. And then, yung pagiging matured na dapat pag naglalaro.
Dala ang maturity at experience na nakuha nila sa paglalaro kasama ng kanilang foreign imports nung nakaraang season, siguradong mas mabagsik na water defenders ang makikita ngayon sa loob ng court.
Pipilitin namin na lahat ng games maipapanalo namin, tapos makapasok ulit kami ng finals, tapos makuha na rin yung championship.
Sana supportahan nila kami ng tuloy-tuloy lang and huwag magsawa. Gagawin po namin lahat ng best namin as a team and bibigyan namin sila ng magandang laban.
Mga kapamilya, kung may gusto kayong mensahe sa inyong mga iniidolo sa water defenders, you can tweet us at ABS-CBN Sports and use the hashtag PVL on ABS-CBN. And you can also check out exclusive photos on our Instagram account, that's at ABS-CBN_sports. And don't forget to stay updated on all things Premier Volleyball League. You can check out the Philippines' #1 sports website. Of course, that's sports.abs-cbn.com. At syempre, Bumen rin, hindi mawawala ang ating Ronda Cam kung saan binibigyan natin ng first-person view ang ating mga viewers tungkol sa mga kaganapan sa likod ng arena. At good news para sa mga nandito dahil pwede kayong makisali sa usapan dahil magtatanong kayo sa inyong mga iniidolo at live kayo mapapakita sa TV at live na live rin kayong sasagutin. Syempre, hindi mawawala ang ating photo booth kung saan mafe-feature kayo mismo na nakikita, na nakikisaya at nag-e-enjoy sa mga kaganapan dito sa loob ng arena. At katulad nito, Bumen rin.
It's a complete experience always, Ira and Noreen, to be here inside the Philoil Flying V Center. And even watching, lalo na watching live, both on live stream and on SNA. And speaking of which, we're going to take a break muna, saglit lang. At ihimay-himay natin ang ating second game ng ating Sunday doubleheader. Magbabalik po kami dito, PVL on ABS-CBN. Ilang segundo na lamang ay magbabakbakan na ang Water Defenders and the Power Smashers, the top two teams from the preliminary round in the Reinforced Conference. But before that, pag-uusapan lang natin ng saglit itong dalawang kupunan na ito muli. Welcome to our coverage. It's live here on SNA. Boom Gonzalez and Noreen Go. And of course, Ira Pablo is with us, a panel at large. At turonda muna sa loob dito ng Philoil Flying V Center. At bago tayo magsimula sa ating laro, pag-usapan natin itong dalawang kupunan na ito. The Power Smashers. Talk to me about what their lineup is, Noreen, and any new additions for them.
Yeah, but you know, talking about both teams, we have to mention coming into this conference that these two teams could have really been champions also in the first conference. So these two teams out to really prove themselves. And for the Power Smashers, key holdovers, you have Prado, you have Dimdim Pacres, you have Marzan and Bicar. And new additions, we have Alexandra Denistan and Winnie Tilalio. These are names that we have already encountered in the past, and we know that they can actually bring a lot of experience to the Power Smashers.
Tilalio, of course, a former FEU Tamaraw, a lot of experience for her. And, you know, it's interesting what Coach Nes Familiar said. bakit sila natisod dun sa uli. Ano? It was a matter of conditioning for them. They were not able to physically sustain their efforts towards the end. And maybe an expanded lineup will help them dito sa Open Conference. All right, Ira Pablo got to talk to one of the new additions, the former LaSalle Ladies spiker, Alexandra Denise Tan. Let's listen to that interview with Alex.
Then the Power Smashers had the second best record after finishing the preliminary round. Pero hindi umabot yung team sa final. So what does the Power Smashers have to do this Open Conference to improve that?
I think siguro yung more on plays. Malabas namin yung strengths namin as a team and makover namin yung weaknesses namin para manalo one game at a time.
What is the focus of the Power Smashers during the off-season?
Training every day, tapos siguro yun yung plays talaga. Finocus namin kasi ngayon all Filipino na, so alam namin lahat ng laro ng bawat players. So yun, inaral namin isa-isa ulit.
Maraming salamat din. Balik sa inyo, Boom and Noreen.
Maraming salamat, Ira, and they hope that Alex and or Den, as both are her nicknames, and Winifred Eulalio will add depth to this lineup, which came short after ending at 6-4 in the preliminary round at number 2 nung reinforced conference, and maybe address itong sinasabi ni Coach Nes Pamilar na conditioning problem. So it will be an interesting subplot dito sa ating Open Conference, talking about the Power Smashers. So all right, let's go to the Water Defenders in the meantime. And Noreen, number 1 after the preliminary round, and we all know what happened in the end. Another heartbreak for Coach Roger Goreyev in the finals. But it's a brand new season at all Filipino, kumbaga.
Yeah, you know, they could have won actually
Right.
in the finals because they did play in the finals. But we have to mention nga that there were imports last conference. So all Filipino, as you said, Boom, it's going to be interesting for this team because we've seen that they can play well together. Speaking of the key holdovers, Soltones will be the vital part, of course, of the Water Defenders. And of course, Risa Sato and Malabanan both with breakout seasons last conference, and Jasmine Nabor. So these 4 players will be the core of the Water Defenders in pursuing that dream of winning this conference's champion.
That girl is so used to getting awards already. Her new teammates racking up awards too. And Sato and Nabor were always big fans. We've always been big fans of Jasmine Nabor, whether she was an attacker or now as a setter. But we'll talk more about that later on. It would be interesting. It's always interesting to find out the thoughts of Gretzel Soltones. So let's listen to that interview kasama si Ira Pablo.
Gretchen, hindi nakuha ng Water Defenders ang championship title last conference. Anong improvements ang kailangan nyong gawin this Open Conference?
Wala naman siguro self-esteem lang, and then kung paano maging matured maglaro. Yan naman yung parating sinasabi sa amin ni Coach Roger. And then siguro sa tapang siguro.
Describe mo naman sa amin yung chemistry ng team, lalo na't ngayong conference ay hahabulin nyo ulit yung title na yon na champions.
Hopefully, but we're not expecting it yet naman. We'll just do our best in every game. And sana, as a team, makamit namin yung dapat makamit.
Maraming salamat, Gretchen. Balik sa inyo, Boom and Noreen.
The always smiling Gretzel Soltones, putting things in perspective, kumbaga, para sa kanilang campaign dito sa Open Conference. 7-3 in the reinforced conference, winning in 3 games against the Cool Smashers. Unfortunately for them, falling in 3 games against the Lady Warriors. What do you see for them this Open Conference, sorry?
I think, honestly, they will be a team to be reckoned with because of how they performed. We got to remember, before going into the quarters and semis, there were no imports.
Yeah.
So this is the exact same team that played during the elimination. So we're expecting them to play awesome games this conference.
Speaking of expectations, we are expecting you to join us kasi live po tayo. So please, patuloy po kayo mag-tweet at ABS-CBN Sports. And of course, ang ating hashtag, our forever hashtag, PVL on ABS-CBN, which trended at number 1 for a very long time yesterday in yesterday's games and pati na rin kanina in our first game. So patuloy nyo pong gawin yan. ABS-CBN_sports po para sa ating IG. And don't forget our live streaming at sports.abs-cbn.com/PVL. And of course, on PremierVolleyballLeague.com. No excuse to join me, Noreen, and Ira and your favorite teams dito po sa inyong Premier Volleyball League. And no excuse also, if you're here inside the venue, we always have the entertainment covered DJ Louie naman para sa ating second game, which is seconds away dito po sa SNA. So when we come back, simulan na natin ang labanan ng Water Defenders and the Power Smashers.
Presenting our officials for this match. First referee, Mr. Rene Gaspilio, National Referee. Second referee, Mr. Angelo Hao, National Referee. Before we present our starters, we'd like to give our thanks to our friends from ASICS, the official partner of the Premier Volleyball League. Mikasa for our game balls, Valley Pure for our drinking water, and Bukai Sweat, the official electrolyte drink of the PVL. And now, let us welcome our Power Smashers. Let's start off with our team captain, number 18, Jovelyn Prado. At number 4, Regine Arocha. Number 5, Dimdim Pacres. With jersey number 10, Alina Bicar. Number 12, Catherine Villegas. And number 14, Andrea Marzan. Libero, number 9, Eunice Galang. Head coach, Mr. Ernesto Nes Pamilar. And now, let us welcome our Valley Pure Purest Water Defenders. Their team captain is last conference's best setter, number 4, Jasmine Nabor. At number 5, last conference's second best outside spiker, Gretchel Soltones. Number 9 is Aiko Sweet Urdas. Number 11 is last conference's best middle blocker, Risa Sato. Number 12 is Iris Oliveros. And number 15, Jerilee Malabanan. Libero, number 6, Leslie Ann Pantone. Head coach, Mr. Roger Gorayev. This is match number 4, preliminary round. Open
Live po tayo ng SNA at ang ating starting 6 on your screens right now for the Power Smashers, Water Defenders, second game ng ating Sunday doubleheader dito po sa inyong Premier Volleyball League. And of course, the Water Defenders, as we said, they want to get over the hump and finally get that championship. Nagdubulas sa kanila against the Lady Warriors last year. You have to be happy for this girl. You know, I wanted to say, Noreen, and I've said this since her freshman year, I was always a fan of hers dahil nga parang matapang. She has this great disposition about her that parang hindi siya napapakita na nape-pressure siya. And then all of a sudden, the next year, she becomes the setter. And then she does very well against very good setters in the UAP. As we know, we have some great setters in the UAP. You know, and then in her first off-season, after that, she wins an award. How encouraging is that? Na makakuha ng isang best setter award na hindi mo natural na position to begin with.
Well, obviously it's gonna be inspiring. You know, that experience will hopefully inspire her to do better because you said, as you said, obviously in the way she plays, you know, that's her attitude eh. Palaban lagi eh. And she doesn't mind if there are changes or you know, change in position. She just loves what she does.
service.
In the meantime, Coach Roger Gorev and Sato had a lot to say to the referee, our first referee, Rene Gaspilio, as he felt it was not over the net.
And that's the first point, ha?
That was the first point. Pero pumawi ka agad itong best middle blocker.
Team captain.
Risa Sato, and that's another thing that you have to be happy about. You kind of feel so good for these girls because they've had their heartbreaks in the UAP Marine. They've had some close calls. They've had some disappointing seasons, obviously, with the expectations with playing with Jaja Santiago and all of that. So for them to come close and then win some individual awards along the way, masaya ka para sa kanila.
Of course. And, you know, it's like them coming out of their shell
Correct.
and proving themselves.
Oh, may kumpiyansa.
So, Boom, can you imagine next UAP how lethal this National Bulldogs team will be?
Well, we hope. We hope. Especially with the kind of competition na nga na nangyayari. Ano, UP now here and then Adamson showing some grit yesterday. Napakasaya next year. Pero dito muna tayo. Yan, siguradong net block na yan.
That's true. Good
Four
call.
touches yan.
Yeah, but you know, Boom, we keep mentioning, no, Jasmine Nabor playing well, Teresa Sato, rightfully so. But we also gotta mention itong si Jerry Lee Malabanan.
Yes.
I mean,
Tremendous. She looks like she's in the best shape of her life. Ang confidence level napakataas from a great campaign last year, by the way, in the UAP. As Pacres is another story para dito sa PVL. Of course, one of our favorites, Dimdim Pacres, getting a point. At lamang sila ng tatlo. Punta tayo kay Ira Pablo right now.
Boomerang, an exciting fact para sa mga Water Defenders fans dyan dahil ang captain ng team ay walang iba kundi ang pinakabatang player ng Water Defenders, walang iba kundi si Jasmine Nabor. Excited daw tong center dahil, pero naiilang daw siya ng konti dahil syempre as a captain kailangan niya mag-utos sa kanyang mga teammates o magbigay ng konting reminders o instructions, pero pag ginagawa niya yun, hindi mawawala yung pag-ate at pagpo niya sa kanyang mga teammates. Alam niyo ba na grade 2 to grade 5 ay track and field player itong si Jasmine Nabor. Sinabi nung nanay niya na i-try daw niya na mag-volleyball, pero nung una ayaw daw niya dahil ayaw niya makisabay sa training ng volleyball team, pero nung coach nung volleyball team ang kanyang math teacher noon, she decided to give it a try. So from track and field, naging volleyball spiker itong si Jasmine, now to a setter, and now to a team captain. Alam naman natin na magaling mag-adjust itong si Jasmine Nabor. Boomerang?
And you know why, Ira? Because I think, again, it goes back to her disposition. She has the perfect disposition for it. So, hindi kami nagtataka na ginawa siyang kapitan kahit siya yung pinakabata because she has that kind of attitude.
Yeah, but what about a math teacher being your volleyball coach? You don't hear about that all the time.
Not every day. Not every day. So, very happy for her. Great career. And also, another thing na pwede natin sabihin, just to close this conversation about Jasmine Nabor. Remember, she started off the UAP season with an injury. And there were even doubts about her whether she was going to finish the season because of that left knee of hers.
Yeah, right.
Diba? Hirap na nga siyang tumakbo at one point. But she gutted it out. At ganda nang ipinakita ngayong kapitana ng Water Defenders. And then, dagdag mo na itong mga kasama nila Sato, nila Malabanan, katulad ni Gretzel, at meron ka pang Pantoni. Kaya isang close to icon status na yan sa pagiging libero.
Before the liberos of the contemporary liberos,
right.
It was Lizzie and Gata.
Correct.
Now Pantoni.
And another thing, you talk about attitude and disposition as Soltones gets the point at lumamang na sila after being down here 5-1. So that's 5 straight points for them. Pantone has the best disposition ever. Diba? Nung naglalaro siya sa UAP and even in the semi-pro, she just parang unfazed. Ito si Leslie, kaya gustong-gusto siya. Iniidolo yan ng maraming volleyball players.
Yeah, and remember, last conference, they made a feature on her and what she used to do. And it's also an inspiring story, and we're glad that she ended up choosing volleyball.
She is, I think, by a lot of players of the past, she is considered as the best. I mean, we'll always say one of the best, but for some players, they will consider her the best.
And we always say, arguably.
Arguably, of course. And it's hard to argue. It is. That statement, Soltones. Nice dive there, Pacres. Lipat sa kabila. The toss, the reverse set to Urdas. Longest rally of the match so far, and it's still going. Malabanan to Soltones. Ginawa ng paraan.
Oh, good take.
Prado. Cross court. Soltones picking it up. Nabor sa gitna. Pinuntahan, and it is the Sato-Nabor connection.
First technical timeout, 8.
From 5-1 down. 7 straight points to take him to the technical timeout. Kayo po yung nanonood ng PVL dito po sa SNA. At maagang rally ang ipinakita dito ng Water Defenders. dala na rin ang kanilang championship experience no rin. Kumapit, they were down 1-5. As we see the UP players, kanina pa yan nandyan. Of course, they went down today. Buitre.
Hey,
Hey, speaking of icon status.
Jang Boli in the house.
Estaniero earlier, as UP has now joined the PVL. Oh, what a save there. Oh, Bacres with a perfect attack. Finally a point mula sa Power Smashers.
You know what commitment shown by Gallego there. One-handed save.
That's a great save.
Team captain, Sergey.
But what about the Power Smashers? When you look at the players individually, they're from different teams.
Exactly.
No?
Tama.
Bacres,
Kombinasyon nila.
Marzan. So that's the beauty of Coach Ness's job. He was trying to glue them together, and they did a good job.
And yet they were the second best
Yes.
after the preliminary round. Go Bali, says Caps. Fighting Risa and Jerry Lee. They've also become such good friends, by the way.
I'm sure.
We always see them in social media together.
And she
Yeah,
scores.
that always helps in terms of their
10
game.
to
Vernon
6.
Magbanwa, High Falcons Queen, Libero Leslie Gata Pantone, supporting the Valley Pure Water Defenders all the way from Puerto Princesa, Palawan, one of my favorite provinces
Yeah.
of all time. Palawan, always beautiful. Maraming salamat sa inyong pag-tweet. Remember the hashtag PVL and ABS-CBN. You know what I used to say when I was covering Leslie during her UAP career? Pag tinanong mo, parang tinatamad maglaro pero galing.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, July 5, the women's
Tatanong ka rin, nakaganon lang kami. May pasok mo sa loob ng net. Ewan mo tataan yan. Eh, lahat ng tanong mo, tatalo naman, eh, gaganan mo na yung kanan. Wala talaga mga nakita mo, sa harap mo lang bumabagsak.
So from being up 5-1, the Power Smashers, isang puntos pa lamang. As again, the UP
5 points
players.
up for the water defenders
recovery
here in
food.
the first set.
They're sharing one little pack of whatever snack that is. Coach Jerry in the house.
It's nice to have the UP Lady Maroons here in the PVL and a lot of the fans, obviously on Twitter, I'm sure. A lot of fans, kahapon pa lang, nag-tweet pa sila sa akin. But they were very happy with that development.
Even Adamson for that
Oh,
matter.
yes.
You know, at least
That was
create
so fun.
exposure.
That was such a fun game. I'm so happy for that team. Bacres. That's low. 4 touches. So patuloy ang ragasan ng puntos dito ng Water Defenders. 12-6.
12.
Yeah, but Coach Ness, I remember in that huddle, he's stressed on blocking. Obviously, it's not there because Valley Pure Water Defenders, their offense is flowing.
Nabor. Urdas can take Bacres through the block, finds a crack, but she hits the net apparently. And she
13-6.
is disappointed as that point will go again sa runners-up ng ating reinforced conference.
Well, you can see she tried to elude the net.
Na-scrape,
Oh,
na-scrape.
Ever so simple, yeah.
I have a little story. When I was in the US one time and I saw a volleyball practice of a college team in LA.
Okay.
I think I was in the UCLA not stadium, but training facility. Habang tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang rally natin dito, malakas yan! And the coaches were training those little things to avoid scrapes. They had drills, Noreen, to avoid scrapes, to avoid touching the net while blocking. They were training these college students how to block, how to avoid scrapes. It's so meticulous. Talagang down to the detail.
And it should be, that's one thing we should learn also because you have to create in your mind, at least when you do a program, these situations and then your training should, to either avoid it or make the best of it.
7 will be serving 14.
I thought you were going to tell me they were trying to recruit you.
Dimdim Bacres.
Biggest mistake of their lives.
For the Power Smashers.
As a ball boy, pwede. Katabi kasi nung basketball facility yun eh. Na magkatabi sila, nakita ko both yung
But
practice.
it's a good experience. I'd like to do that soon.
At the end of the net,
Baba na naman. Ang
point and
bigay.
serve
Ay,
for the
Gordas.
Power
So,
Smashers.
puntos para sa Power Smashers who are down 6.
Yeah, if you're the Power Smashers, what you want to do right now, you have to
Service.
communicate
Pagres.
more because you can see, the water defenders, obviously, today at least, they're playing more as a cohesive unit. So if you're the Power Smashers, try to build your own momentum.
15.
Soltones, not the strongest, pero maganda yung cut shot. At nakapuntod na naman siya, 15-8. Linihis yung bola.
Ay,
Gordas.
for the serve.
No, I wasn't here during the finals, obviously, nung PVL Reinforced Conference. But from what I saw also, Gordas is slowly getting her strength back from the old prior to the injury days. Pag-usapan natin mamaya yan as we get into this second technical timeout.
Hi Alina, I'm Mike from Batangas City. Tanong ko lang, both sa volleyball, ano pang pinagkaabalahan mo? Thank you!
Hi Mike, bukod sa pagbabalibol, ang pinagkakaabalahan ko ay ang pagkakanta din. Yun ang parang hobby ko parati pag wala akong ginagawa. Thank you. Please, don't stop supporting Power Smashers. Thank you.
Also, such a big fan personally of Alina Bicar. I think she did an incredible job for UST this year. Palitan sila ni Alex Cabanos and ang galing nung nagawa ni Coach Kung Fu talagang nailabas niya itong
9 to 16.
mga players niya, Pacres, sila. Of course, Rondina, we all know that. Laure and Picard had a great season for UST. Her team is down 7, yes.
Final 4 in how many years?
Yes.
So it's a good result of their program.
Aracha with a quick
The lead
reaction.
is right now 16-10. Okay, let's go back to Gordas. You were covering the whole time. I was not around and you saw, alam naman natin yung napakagaling na Gordas bago nung na-injure, but it took so long for her to recover physically and I think more than anything else, mentally, Noreen. But now she seems to really be back, smiling again. Parang yung conditioning niya, napakaganda na rin. Parang nandun na naman yung dati niyang lakas when she was, yung tinatawag siyang the possessed attacker before, di ba, si Gordas. What were your observations?
Well, I think more than anything, when she played after, when she came back after the injury, I think it was really a confidence issue.
Okay.
Aside from the fact, that was major, but aside from the fact that we can see that, the way she jumped, it wasn't the same after that ACL injury. She was slower, and then, of course, the confidence issue. The confidence is shot, right?
Yes.
But here, this last conference, you can already see it. Even her movements were better. She's quicker.
Yeah.
She has more power, and you can see the confidence.
Masaya na naman.
Oo, masaya.
Oo.
Big difference.
I agree 100%. And we're happy to see that.
Yeah.
Kasi napakagaling yan bago siya na-injure.
Iris Olivares.
Iris Olivares now serving with a 7-point lead, 18-11. Good to see. Able to make a play out of that one though. Itong si Alina Picar. So 19-11. Ang ating talaan.
Well, after a strong start by the Power Smashers, right now they find themselves down by 8.
Olivares.
5-1 kanina yan. Lamang sila. Power Smashers.
Wow, good serve.
Inihatid sa kabila. Prado pushing it to the other side. Nabor. Gordas. Mababa. Aniles.
12.
Yeah, it wasn't the set she actually is comfortable with. So she buries that into the net.
I remember she also has graduated na, di ba?
Yeah.
She's done with school. So maybe that also helps her right now. Na parang the focus is just to get healthy and
Could be. No
Could
more
be.
pressure of school.
I wouldn't know the feeling. Manabanan, ginawa ng paraan. Itig. Pagtone again. Ano mo yung hatid? Off an attack. Pagtone just gives it to Nabor right where she is.
And it wasn't a perfect, her form wasn't picture perfect.
Patagilid pa nga.
Patagilid. But still, and justifies the means.
Team captain,
That's how good she is.
Jasmine Lamore, serving.
The heyday of an Adamson team that, by the way, had probably the best floor defense during their time.
I'm out. Power
2012, timeout muna si Coach Ness dahil bound sila dito ng 8.
For the men's
Tsaka yung receipt muna, hindi tayo wala eh. Parang wala kayong katiwala sa reception. Yun lang nga diferensya mula kanina, hindi kayo makareceive. Wala kayong maatake, ayaw nyo receive. Pwede ba sa harap nila receive? Paano may set yan? Paano magkakaroon ng play? Huwag po yung mag-receive, atake, receive muna kayo.
What has happened? What's the turnaround from 5-1 ahead, big start? Bakit tayo nasa ganitong sitwasyon na lamang ng siyam? As pumasok na dito si Jarrell Singh para sa Water Defenders.
Well, that huddle said it all. You know, Coach Ness stressed on the importance of reception because, of course, players at this level, gusto mo pumalo eh, diba? You want to get your numbers, you want like that. But before that,
13 to
that's a
21.
great example. You got to receive first. That came off a better reception. That's why Packers was able to get was a recipient of that great set.
How happy can you be for Tim Dicasa and her exposure, her improvement, and her, the attention that she's getting after being on the bench and maybe not even being considered in the team. Remember, that was the challenge for Coach Kung Fu. You got to prove yourself to be part of the team this year or last year during that off season. And now look at her.
She proved herself.
Yeah, she dedicated, the physical conditioning, then the movement on the skills part, and she is a fan favorite, isn't she?
She is. And you know what I like about her? She was able to control her emotions because everybody knows she's powerful, but sometimes she can't control it kasi kasama na yung emotions. And towards the end of that the season, year 8 season, you can see she was already learning to control it. So she was getting better and more effective.
Kabila, dinala. And ganda ng harang dun sa net ni Sato and Soltones. Look at them celebrate that emphatic rejection. So, set point para dito sa Water Defenders. It's so good to see them so happy in the game that they love as Malabana now delivering on the service line. Backers again. Sa sobrang lakas. That's the power. Sabi nga ni Mosey kahapon, pinag-uusapan namin yung mga player na wala pa masyadong skill pero alam mo sa simula, malalakas na talagang pumalo. Yung mga Packers, yung mga Vargas, yung mga Gervasio. Natural yung power sa kanila. Lamor with the reverse set to Singh. Coverage is there para sa Power Smashers. Secondary set. Setter pa yung Gallego. Singh, pinulak pa kabila. Back set to Dim off the fingertips of Soltones. Again, the power of Packers.
Well, you obviously can see the USD connection with Vicar and Packers, and the obvious first option is Dim. And why not? She's been playing well for the Power Smashers. But again, we got to mention, it's a team effort. Everybody's got to get involved and contribute.
Oh, Sato with a perfect attack from a perfect set from Labor. And that will do it para sa ating unang yugto dito sa ating pangalawang laro for our Sunday doubleheader. Look at the setup by Nabor to her partner in crime as she puts it away. And now the Water Defenders getting the first set. We'll be back. Second set action dito po sa SNA.